One club, together. We are proud of who we are and what we do. We are a founding member of the Football League. We are 1884. We are positive, inspired and passionate. We are now. We are moving together. We are ambitious and driven. We are progress. We are change. We are prepared, honest and humble. We are the highs. We are the lows. We are the heartbeat of our community. We are the famous black and white. We are the dreams come true. We are the club of opportunity. We are the memories. We are the yet to come. We are Derby.
Hello and welcome to the preview show from RamsTV. After breaking into the League One automatic promotion places for the first time this season last weekend, Derby County host Shrewsbury Town here at Pride Park this afternoon, looking to consolidate their place in the top two. We'll start to set the scene for this one for you by taking a closer look at the League One leading pack. Derby didn't play in the week, but Peterborough did, losing at Exeter and missing out on the chance to go above the Rams. Bolton didn't even get that opportunity, with their game against Cheltenham postponed due to the weather. And there was a surprise defeat for Stevenage at home to Reading as well. It all means Portsmouth have a 5-point cushion to third place Bolton, with Derby 4 points off top spot with a game in hand as well. How different will those standings look by the end of the day, I wonder. We'll take a look at the table in full and this afternoon's lineup in League One for you before the end of the show. But back to today's game, and there will be a little bit of a personal edge to this meeting between Derby County and Shrewsbury Town. That's because the respective head coaches, Paul Warne and Paul Hurst, are former teammates from their time at Rotherham and very good friends too.
Yeah, great, Hursty. Great kid. I mean, I played with him for years. Really resolute, determined pro. We signed. It's a bit like Foz, really. The manager signed loads of left backs to replace him, and no one ever replaced him. They came in for a bit, looked good for a bit, and then Hursty saw him off every single time. So I think he's like the longest, most appearances at the club. But just a really good guy, really solid. Reliable. It doesn't sound very exciting, I'm saying it, does it? I'm not saying, but he's quite funny. He does see the world like I see it, so we have some right dour chats. And was always a bit of my nemesis, really, and he might still be my nemesis come this weekend, so I never enjoyed playing him. When we played at Wembley, because we're pretty close, I'd say, we played in the playoff final, he was Shrews, and we were chatting away on the side of the pitch, having a good day out, and then we went 1-0 up, and I'm thinking, I can't really chat to him now, because just a bit wrong, innit? Because we're winning, it just looks a bit wrong. So when they equalised, I went, oh, thank God you scored. We can start chatting again. So obviously, then obviously we won, fortunately. But yeah, really good man. Love him as a bloke, and like Doidge's assistant, really good football people. So I was really disappointed to see what happened at Grimsby, really, because they've done a really good job both times. So that surprised me, but I mean, that's football. People want managers sacked all the time, crazily. So for him to get in at Shrews, done a brilliant job there before. They've got a good squad of players, really. I know he had a really good first win. And then obviously at the weekend they went down to 10 men, so it sort of blighted the scoreline. So I know it's going to be a tough game. They always are. They'll be resolute. They'll be really hard to break down. And they'll have some confidence to play in the middle of the park. So it'll be a tough game. But yeah, it'd be nice to see him. It'd be nice to see him at 5 o'clock, though.
He's been very important to you. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang has as well. Goal scorer at the weekend, went off injured. Any update on him?
Yeah, the update is he's sore. I think he'll be fine, but he's just sore. So I don't think he'll be on the grass with us today, but the intention is he trains tomorrow. So he should be fine. It's just a knock on his foot, although it did swell. I'll give him that. But we've got Doc in today who's jabbing him and draining him and all sorts, so he'll have a great time. So, yeah, he should be okay. And in fairness to him, like, not the opposite to Colo, this sounds awful, but Nat is essential. Nat is, like, imperative to how we play, and hence why, and I don't want to drag all this up again, but, you know, people love me to talk about the transfer window, but hence why we tried to sign some pace in that up top as well, because Nat's goal on Saturday, I'm not too sure Colo would have got it, respectfully, because it was one where you needed pace to break the line. So Nat is obviously the quickest player we have, so him and Corey. But so Nat's goal Saturday was the difference between two teams. You're talking about the smallest of details, really. So Nat, obviously we want him fit, and if he isn't fit for a few weeks, then we have to find another way to play. But I'm pretty reassured that he should be fine.
We can talk more about the transfer window if you're desperate to.
Yeah, I mean, I've missed it. I mean, I already feel, when you said about me looking younger at Wembley, I already feel younger. I can feel the lines beginning to fill in again around my eyes, which is a nice feature.
Let me just ask you about Corey Blackett-Taylor as well, because you didn't have him last weekend. Any update on him?
Yeah, he's just been training on the grass all week. He's being monitored all the time. Whether he joins in training, he's not joining in today, I don't think. Whether he joins in tomorrow, I don't know. And then, obviously, if he does join in tomorrow, whether I would risk him is another question, which I'll have with the medical team. So we have a lot of games, so there's no point taking a slight risk now and then losing him for a period of time. However, obviously, I want him fit.
That's Derby boss Paul Warne with a bit of an injury update and a bit of insight into his opposite number today. This will only be Paul Hurst's third game back in charge of Shrewsbury after returning to the club late last month. Hurst was previously in charge for a 19-month spell from 2016 to 2018. He saved Shrewsbury from relegation, then led them to the League One playoff final where they lost to Warnes at Rotherham. He's had stops at Ipswich and Grimsby since then. He's back at Shrewsbury after Matt Taylor was sacked following a run of 7 defeats in 8 games. He only arrived in the summer, but left with Shrewsbury just 7 points clear of the relegation zone. Hurst made a winning start against Northampton, but his side lost at home to Cambridge last weekend. And this week's been disrupted for him by the weather over in Shropshire.
Good up until today, and then the weather sort of created a bit of havoc for us because we'd set a session up and then we couldn't really do it because of the rain just kept coming and coming. So the pitch was a bit waterlogged, and we didn't really want to go on the sort of 4G because we've got quite a few lads that can't go on there with past injuries, etc. And with it being so close to Saturday, we didn't want to do that. But no excuses, it's fine. We've done probably a bit of the video analysis a little bit sooner and a bit more depth to make sure they understand what they're going to come up against in terms of good and bad. Obviously a lot in terms of quality of the opposition. But prior to that, all good. Said after last Saturday in terms of disappointment with the result, we're back in with a smile on the face because we can't change what happened in terms of that. And there were still positives to take from it, but ultimately we didn't get the result we wanted. But what a great game to look forward to, albeit a very difficult one, we know that. But I would imagine when the fixture list came out at the start of the season, this is one of the games that everyone will have been.
Coming up against Derby, a Paul Warne side, someone that you know very well from your time playing. Yeah,
the staff or the lads in Paul, Richie Barker, Matt Amshaw and Andy Warrington. Andy was a goalie coach, a teammate. Matt I've played against a lot and been on courses with, and Richie and Paul were teammates. And at my previous job, we used to sometimes see each other at a lay-by before them travelling to Derby and me to Grimsby. And some days perhaps we felt about stepping into the traffic after a weekend's performance. But no, look, I get on with them fantastically well. I genuinely wish them well, obviously not on Saturday. but really good characters, and you know, they're doing a good job. They're on a good run themselves, which doesn't make our job any easier, but obviously that friendship does go out the window when kick-off time comes, and we haven't exchanged any messages or calls this week, but looking forward to seeing them at the weekend.
That's the Shrewsbury boss, Paul Hurst, ahead of today's game here at Pride Park Stadium. Now let's hear from a man who will hopefully be calling this place home for a very long time. Eiran Cashin signed a new long-term deal with Derby County last week. He's been talking about it for the very first time to RamsTV.
I'm buzzing, really. It's been buzzing to get over the line, to get, you know, things finalised, and yeah, now I can just concentrate on my football and obviously get the push for promotion ready.
Is it important to you to, I like the smile as you talk about promotion, we'll come back to that, but is it important to you to have, I guess, distractions out of the way and to be able to focus on the football?
Yeah, for me, I think that's a big thing, you know. There was a lot of talk, there's a lot of distractions off the pitch, but I just like to concentrate on the pitch and do my job and trying to help the team. So yeah, just buzzing to get it all done and dusted, and then now we can concentrate.
I think everybody's aware that there was interest from other clubs and Premier League clubs, and everyone understands, you know, the allure of that to anybody. How do you balance that sort of attention with trying to make sure you play your absolute best for the club you're currently with?
For me, I don't think it's too difficult. I mean, as far as, obviously there's a lot of talk, but as far as I was concerned, I was always a Derby player, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that will, you know, a lot of talk and a lot of things that will settle themselves off the pitch. But for me, I think I've just got to keep doing the stuff that, you know, have got people necessarily talking and looking at us, and I've got to keep doing my job and keep doing the right things so that, you know, I can, like I say, get a promotion push.
We've talked a lot of times about your journey here at Derby County, especially over the last couple of years, and since you broke into the team, you've never really been out of it. But do people quite realise how close you came to leaving the club before that?
Not necessarily. I think obviously there's been a few times when, you know, I was close to leaving the club. One of them being, you know, when people were getting the pro deals, and you know, I think there was 8 of us in our group, and 6 of the lads got offered pros, and 2 of us got told that we weren't right, and they couldn't quite afford to. It was during COVID, so they said that financially there was a struggle to offer us contracts. So I waited out, and you know, I kept my head down, and a few months later they managed to sort something out, and it was obviously a relief. But obviously knowing you weren't the top 6 choices, it's not ideal. But like I said, it didn't really affect me mentally as such. I knew what I was getting myself into when I signed that deal. I knew I'd have to work my way up. So yeah, I just got my head down, and that's what I've done.
Talk to me about your relationship with the supporters. They seem to be quite keen on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a massive part of me, you know, committing to the club, because they've been excellent with me, and they've always showed me love and always showed me support. So, you know, that's a massive part of for me, you know, signing. So, yeah, hopefully long may it continue.
You talked about the promotion push a couple of times. And look, I know where you are in the table in February ultimately doesn't matter, but you got yourselves into the top 2 for the first time this season at the weekend. How big of a milestone is that for you? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we always had, you know, we've always had our aims and our ambitions, and we always knew. But to actually see yourself in the top 2 and realise that actually if we keep going and we keep getting our head down and keep working, that we will actually be up there, and you can sort of start to see the rewards. Obviously, there's a long, like you say, it's a long way to go. But yeah, I mean, the fact that you can see it physically is a nice feeling, and you know, we want more of that.
There is Derby defender Eiran Cashin. Derby, the only team in the top 4, playing at home today. Leaders Portsmouth go to bottom of the table Carlisle, 3rd place Bolton visit Northampton, and Peterborough are at Wickham. Stevenage are away as well. They go to Port Vale Barnsley hosting Leyton Orient. Orient, by the way, the form team in League One at the moment. Richie Wellens has just won Manager of the Month. They're up to 9th, just 7 points off the playoffs. A win today will keep Derby second. Oxford need to find some form if they're to get back in the playoff places. Port Vale sacked their manager this week after slipping into the relegation zone. It means 6 of the bottom 8 have made a change in the dugout now this season. Both Port Vale and Cheltenham do have games in hand. Shrewsbury are just 3 points clear of the relegation zone, which makes today's game at Pride Park very interesting indeed. Overseas viewers can watch Derby County against Shrewsbury Town live on RamsTV. Get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. We're back here with a reaction in the Derby debrief after the game as well. Join me and Sean Barker for that. Until then, goodbye.